Next step in here is last webinar we built a couple of key performance indicator reports. We did that from reports. And what I thought a really good exercise to do would be to build a dashboard utilizing some of those reports. I'm going to start with the vital signs by service category that has a previous year comparison. So let's go back to the software. I'm just going to open this up for everybody as a refresher, or in case you weren't on the last webinar. On the last webinar, we went in and built some reports and customized them, okay? And this is the report that I'm basically talking about that I want to bring up to a dashboard. So on this report, I can set whatever period of time. I can execute the report, and this is the report that we customized last time we were together. Don't forget, you guys have the ability to go in and add or remove columns. I try to make my columns and the information useful so it fits properly on a dashboard, but it doesn't matter because you're still going to have this scroll bar, which you will see in a minute. So let's see how to take this report we customized and put it onto a dashboard. Out on dashboards, what I'm going to do in here, excuse me, is I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a new dashboard. So make sure we select add from the dashboard. I'm going to name this report just KPI, okay? So you can do it whatever you want. I can even say it's year to date, because what I'm going to do with this report is try to bring back any information year to date, and that'll be a comparison to last year. Okay, so when I add that, all I've done is name a new dashboard. Now there's nothing on it because I now have to go in and add the widgets. So now you guys are going to see what a widget is, okay? So on this report, I'm going to select add, and here you see all the report categories. Remember the common reports, which are the quick reference reports that we put together. My reports, which are the reports that I've taken from all reports and customized. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Like I say, last time we were together, we built this vital signs report with the previous year comparison, and that's the report that I'm going to want to bring in. So let's just do a select. Now I get the same window. Guys, remember this window from where you customize the report. Now I've already set most of the customizing up when I built the report, so I'm going to set my refresh rate. And since this is going to be a year-to-date comparison, I'm going to say this report really doesn't need to update but every hour. If I wanted to, I could change the name. Your description, I'll show you, will be a pop-up message that will come up. And I'm going to use a dashboard controller to work with the date range. It's important that you execute the report back here and then save it before you bring it back to your panel. So I've just added my first widget. You'll notice they're fairly small. So we can just come in here and look for your arrows. You can stretch it any way you want, okay? Or you can grab the bottom corner and you can stretch the whole report out this way if that's what you'd like to do. You see the grid in the background. You can make the report as large or as small as you would like, depending on what details you want to see. I've now added a dashboard report. In this report, I can specify what time frame I want to look at. So if I want to look at this year to date, what's going to happen with this report is, hopefully you remember from last week's or week before's webinar, we're going to identify the total sales, and then we're going to get a breakdown by each service category. We're going to compare that to the total sales last year for the same period. So I'm comparing on this date, this year to last year's sales. I've got the difference, so I can see that I'm up $52,000, almost $52,600 here over last year, which is a 15.21% increase. I've got my gross profit dollars along with the differences. We kind of went through this last last webinar. And the other beautiful thing I can do is I can sort these columns. So if I want to see by service category alphabetically, if I want to see which of these categories is bringing in the most money, then right here I can see drivability is the most, oil changes are the second, steering and suspension, and just goes on down the list. So remember, you can organize these however you want. Okay, by setting up the automatic refresh, let me go back to that right quick. I want this report to automatically update every hour. Okay, I can now go on about my business. I can go in here and start making work orders. I can start paying bills, whatever I want to do, and that report, that dashboard is automatically going to update every hour. I can leave it on my taskbar and come back and look at it every once in a while to see what changes have been made. So these are some of the basic features and a first step into building your own dashboards. I'm going to go in and add some more to this dashboard. Okay, so what I want to do with this is narrow my dashboard down. So I'm going to highlight the bar, okay, and then I'm going to size the dashboard a little bit smaller, because really right now all I'm looking for is the information across the top. And if you wanted any of the lower information, you still have your scroll bar that you can move around with. Okay, I want to add another report here, okay, that we put together last week. So I'm going to go back and add another widget. I'm going to put a couple reports on this dashboard. I'm going to go into My Reports. I'm going to go into Sales. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm thinking I'm missing a report that I had in here last week. But let's just take this one here. Okay, so I want to look at my Invoice Summary. So that's the report I'm going to select. Click on Select, identify the refresh rate. Personally, I like to have all my reports refresh at the same time, but that's my choice. You guys can do it however you want. So I'm going to set it up to refresh every hour. I'm going to execute. Okay, so my information comes back. And if I want this report to use the global date range, then I'm going to need to check the box on it, and I'm going to click on Save. Now that report pops up. Okay, I can stretch the report out to where I get the information I want to see. Okay, and I can even move it around however I want. So I'm going to drop it down a little bit, and I'll just bring a little more real estate back with this one. So remember, I always have to click on the header bar in order to size the report. So now I'm seeing my sales. And you guys may remember the Vital Signs Invoice Summary, which tells me the first and last invoice, gives me my average invoice value. Okay, so now I've got two widgets on my report. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add another widget to the report because I want a little more information on here. I'm going to go back to My Reports under Employees. Okay, and what I want to bring forward is the Service Advisor, let me grab it here, the Service Advisor Summary, along with the effective labor rate. You may remember on the last webinar, we put that report together. Let's select that report, set my refresh rate to match the others, check to use the global date range, execute, save, and now I can set that report up, or widget as they're referred to. Now I'm stretching this out, and as you can see, there's some information in here that could probably be narrowed down. So to make the report a little more formatted to what I'm looking for, I'm just going to size these columns a little bit so they don't take up so much information. So don't forget, you guys can size this stuff however you want. Okay, and there's that report. Now I can bring it back a little bit. So now, guys, I've got 3 reports on my dashboard. They're all set to update using the one date range, and we're looking good. I want to do one more because there's one more key performance indicator that I want on this dashboard. I'm going to add a 4th widget. That widget is from a report that we built last week or week before also, and that's going to be your technician summary. Select, set the date range or refresh rate, Make sure you check your box if you want to use that time frame. Execute, save, and then size your last widget. Okay, and remember, oops, okay. All right, so we've got a little bit of a drag information. There's more information on here that's fitting. Okay, so what we might want to do is come back to this report. Let's start with this one, and let's narrow down these columns a little bit. Okay, so we can get all the information on this other report. So by doing that, then I can take this report and I can size it down a bit. I can take my other report, drag it over a little bit. Okay, and of course I can size in here however I want. Okay, I might just leave that so I can see my title, but remember you can scroll, and then the technician summary I'll bring over, and I'll stretch it out a little bit more so I get a little bit more information on here. Size up some of the columns. Okay, and now you can see I've got quite a bit of room. Let's just move it over a notch. We'll get some formatting in here, just a little bit of spacing between some of the reports. And now look what I've got. Okay, so I've got a nice report that gives me my total sales compared to last year by service category, total sales, gross profit dollars, parts, labor, the whole 9 yards, everything I want to look at. I can see how much better I'm doing this year. I already know I'm 15% better than I was this time last year. I can see that my average invoice is running about $500.71. Pretty proud of that. I can see my service advisor summary, the amount of invoices, hours billed, labor dollars, effective labor rate, okay, and average hours per invoice. We reviewed some of this stuff last time we were together, and then I can even see my technicians. This is a great key performance indicator report, and it wasn't really that hard to build. So hopefully you guys will find some enjoyment in building some of your reports, and you see how easy they are to do. You just as like anything else, you're going to have to spend a little bit of time with it. So essentially what we did, guys, is we started out building a dashboard. We brought in some reports that we did last time, and I'm going to show you. You don't have to bring these from your customized reports. I'm going to show you that here in a little bit. We added to that then the vital signs invoice summary, key performance indicators, the service advisor summary, along with the effective labor rate, and the technician summary. Excuse me. So there's a pretty nice report, I think, that you guys can use. And like I say, key performance indicators, you guys can look at this report anytime you want, and you're getting the detailed information. Talk to your coaches. If you guys work with a coach, what information do they want you to monitor? And you're looking at this throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month. Hopefully you'll be looking at more dashboard reports. So now I have two. There's my vital signs, key performance indicators that we put together. Okay, that was the canned report, and then we've added year-to-date comparison. I want to talk to you a little bit about building a dashboard with some charts on it. And what I'm going to do with this one is I'm just going to, let's just say I'm going to wing it. Let's say I don't have any of the reports that I want to put on my dashboard. Okay, so right from my dashboards, if I prefer, I'm going to go in and add a new dashboard. We're going to call this Service Advisor and Tech Summary. You name your dashboards whatever you want to name them. And of course, I start out with a blank dashboard. So let's just start from right here. I'm going to add a new widget now that everybody knows what a widget is, okay? And let's just make this real easy. I'm going to go in here and take my Service Advisor Summary from the common reports. Remember, the common reports are reports that we've kind of cleaned up and narrowed down to some of the key information. Under all reports, under employees, okay, I'm going to have a Service Advisor Summary back here, but remember, there's a whole bunch of columns and stuff. You pick where you want to bring the report from. I'm going to bring it from the common reports and say select. Okay, how often do I want this to refresh? Some reports I may want to refresh more often than others. I'm going to use my global date range. I'm going to go to my column chooser. And remember, I'm doing this right from dashboards. And as we've always said, probably one of the best ways to do this is to select none and then go through the list. And what do you want on the report? I want the service advisor name. I want to know how many invoices. I want to know the labor hours billed, okay? And any other information. I'm just going to keep it real simple, okay? Those are the bits of information I want. Now again, I'm gonna back this up so I get some information on here. Okay, so I can use any period of time, and I'm going to execute so I get some information. I've got a summary for the amount of invoices, but I want a summary for the total labor hours. So I'm just going to go up to summary. I'm going to open up the list, and I'm going to say labor hours billed. That's going to be a sum, so I want a sum of all the labor hours billed. I'll add that. And remember, you guys can put your summaries wherever you want. I think those of you that have been on the seminar know that I like to put them on the top. And now I've got my information.